그 애니메이션 게임 마신 PC-FX.
The game is FX.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoterica, and it is the final episode on the NEC PC-FX. It's been a really amazing series to do. A lot of people have responded positively to seeing something so rare, and we're going to be closing the video out talking about why the PC-FX failed and what it could have done differently, because from a hardware perspective, it's actually pretty impressive. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like, subscribe, and that notification bell definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined to want to support the channel, we have a Patreon link in the description below as well. But the PC-FX was a nice piece of hardware. Something like Zenki shows exactly the type of hardware we're dealing with. And this is on the level of PlayStation 1 or Sega Saturn as far as 2D graphics are concerned. And if all the games on the PC-FX looked like this, it probably would have been a hit. Even things like Team Innocent being pre-rendered have a real, more colorful anime Resident Evil vibe to them, and something like Chip Chan Kick also has a really nice look to it. So the PC-FX did have the hardware to be able to push really amazing 2D graphics, and that was the goal of the system from the start, is to be a 2D powerhouse, kind of like the Saturn. Unfortunately, it also gave us stuff like full motion video gaming. That had already failed on the Sega CD, nobody was interested in it, and NEC decided, hey, let's take a shot at it even though it's already failed. The biggest issue though is think about what the PC-FX was trying to succeed as. The successor console to the PC Engine and PC Engine CD. This was a hit in Japan. The TurboGrafx not so much in North America, but this was giving Nintendo and Sega a run for their money. And you had amazing cue card games like Bomberman 94. It's my second favorite Bomberman game of all time. Absolutely outstanding game, fun multiplayer action, colorful, great 2D graphics, everything that you want in a game. Where the hell was Bomberman on the PC-FX? Hudson was co-owner of the platform, but NEC refused to allow these type of games on the system. They wanted more mature, teen-based games with anime and full motion video. It's got to be the worst decision ever. Where's the platformer like Bonk? How does Bonk not have a sequel on the PC-FX? Bonk was basically the mascot for the PC Engine. He's missing from the PC-FX. Incredible beat-em-ups like Splatterhouse on the PC Engine, nowhere to be found on the PC-FX. And shmups, the bread and butter category of the PC Engine and the PC Engine CD. The console is known for being a shmup system. You get one shmup on the PC-FX. Zeroagar is quite good, but how do you make one shmup to succeed on a system that was the successor to a system known for just making shoot-'em-up games? It's absolutely crazy, because Zeroagar looks amazing. It plays really well. It's a great shmup, but how is it the only one on the system? That's just a gigantic miss. I don't know what they were thinking, especially with properties like Bomberman. Now think about the Sega Saturn. It's one of my favorite consoles of all time, and it's also known to be a 2D powerhouse system. And what did Hudson Soft release for that? Saturn Bomberman, which is considered to be the best 2D mainline Bomberman game ever made. Where the hell was Saturn Bomberman on the PC-FX? How is it not there? And the thing is, it was supposed to be there, because before the PC-FX was the PC-FX, it was the Iron Man or Tatsujin board, and that was shown off at different trade shows as being the successor to the PC Engine. This is original PC-FX hardware, and they were showing off High 10 Bomberman, a 10-player Bomberman game in high definition running on early PC-FX hardware. Why did they not bring this over to the PC-FX? Because they were planning on doing it. There's even gameplay footage of this game running, and it is illogical that NEC and Hudson Soft were working on an incredible 10-player Bomberman game on PC-FX base hardware before it was a console, and they just threw that all out the window and said, you know what, screw it. We're going to have FMV games. We're going to be an anime system. We're going to have dating sims. We're even going to have a little bit of content that's probably 18 plus and maybe you shouldn't check out. I do not know why the business decision was made to take this hardware that was so impressive and just say, you know what, we're not going to put the type of games we make on it. You put Saturn Bomberman on the PC-FX versus Saturn, and you have a system seller. You have a reason for people to collect the console. But forget about the HuCard games, let's talk about the CD games, because of course the PC Engine is more than just HuCards, it's also a CD-based console which gives us a ton of content on it, and some of the best content on the platform in my opinion. Take something like Castlevania Rondo of Blood. It's considered to be the best Castlevania game that's not in the Metroidvania style, and it had anime FMV intros, the same thing that PC-FX was known for, but it had absolutely incredible gameplay. It's one of my favorite games of all time. NEC, Hudson Soft, why didn't you just pay Konami to make you a sequel to this game? Because when we think about something like Castlevania Symphony of the Night or Nocturne in the Moonlight on Saturn, outside of a few 3D effects, the PC-FX could have run this entire game. Why did it not exist on that? Why was NEC not trying to get these experiences on the PC-FX? Who knows? They've never really answered. They just thought that what people wanted were anime FMV games and mature content games. And talk about shmups as well. Again, on the PC Engine CD, just put some of these shmups on the console. The Saturn has great shmups. The PlayStation 1 has great shmups. Why were you not trying to get people to port shmups to your platform? Let alone the fact that there's not a single puzzle game on the system. Even weird stuff like RayceARoni. That would be fun on the PC-FX. It's not a well-known game, but the PC-FX is chock full of strange things. Why not just have a sequel to this? You do have some interesting things like Rurula. It's the hardest game to say, and this is a late-in-life game. And sometimes the PC-FX is just dirt lazy. Look at this. That bat has 1 frame of animation. His attacks look like strips of overcooked bacon. Put that next to something like Bonk on the PC Engine. The PC-FX is a graphical powerhouse in 2D, but sometimes the developers didn't even bother to utilize it. A lot of the games just felt lazy, but the PC-FX had great hardware. If you can do something like Zenki with all of these frames of animation, all of this parallax scrolling, and all of these great things, every game could have looked this caliber. But what is the hidden gem on the PC-FX? If you're going to buy this console for one game, the question is, what game is that? And that's going to be Queen of Queens. 100% tongue-in-cheek. This is the stuff that NEC thought people wanted on the PC-FX, and it makes absolutely no sense. The reason the PC-FX failed is not because it had bad hardware. It had great hardware. It could put out 2D sprites with the best of them. It didn't have any 3D hardware, but I think it could have succeeded without 3D games, especially if they had brought out that 3D accelerator accessory that would plug into the PC-FX, the PC-FX GA. But instead, NEC just decided this is what you wanted more of. You wanted full motion video, you wanted anime. This is just like Battle Heat except with real people, and it actually plays better. This game is something that you can actually win a match on, which is saying something compared to Battle Heat. But this is why the PC-FX failed. NEC basically pretended the PC Engine didn't exist. They looked at the PC Engine and said, what made it successful? Made a list of what made it successful, crumpled that list up, threw it in the trash and said, fuck it, let's do the opposite. And that's why the PC-FX failed. It took all of the successes of the PC Engine, ignored them completely, and decided that gamers wanted something that didn't exist, and that was full motion anime wrestling. It just doesn't make any sense, and that's why the PC-FX is a failure. But it's still a fun system to collect for, and there are still good games on them. If you missed any videos in the series, check the playlist below. You will find them all. But we will be talking about more esoteric hardware in the future, but we're going to be doing something different for December. But yeah, that's the PC-FX. Great hardware, hamstrung by terrible business decisions, and more often than not, it's the business decisions that kill things. Do me a huge favor, hit like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time for the next esoteric hardware series. Poor PC-FX could have been great. Bye-bye.